Okay. All right, we're back. We had a slight interruption due to a missile falling in the neighborhood, but thank God we're okay. I hope everyone else is also okay. We're talking about the 4 sections of Magid. Each section contains 3 ingredients. Number 1, there are questions. Second, there's a telling of the story. And finally, there is a praise. We talked about the first section being the four Manishtana Halayla Hazeh and Bigadat Olavincha and Besachim and the Manishtana Abadim Hayinu and Baruch HaMakom Baruch Hu is the Shavach. Now we come to the second section, is the 4 sons, also with questions. Chachamahu Omer, each one answers a question. And then the telling of the story continues with Yochel Mirosh Chodesh, and goes into details. And finally, we come to the paragraph that begins with Baruch Shomer Havtachato Israel. Blessed is he who keeps his promises to Israel. And we were talking about the fact that Hashem has preserved the Jewish people for 4,000 years, as he promised to Avram Avinu at the Brit Bein HaBetarim, at the covenant of the pieces. Coming now to the third section, which is Say Ulmad, go out and learn. Not exactly in form of a question, but it is a question. Say, go out and learn. You cannot learn if you don't ask questions. Go out and see what Lavan, the Aramean, wanted to do to our father Yaakov Avinu. He wanted to kill him. He was one of those who wanted to destroy the Jewish people. By killing Yaakov and his children and grandchildren, in effect, he would be eliminating Jewish people even before we had a chance to become a nation. So this was the Say Umad, go out and learn and study. And here we have a section called Arami Oved Avi. The Mishnah and Rambam place a lot of emphasis upon the fact that Arami Oved Avi is an integral part of the Haggadah. The source of Arami Oved Avi is found in the section in Devarim where the farmer brings his first fruits to the Beit HaMikdash, the Bikurim. And when he brings his first fruits, he makes a declaration. The declaration beginning with Arami Oved Avi, that an Aramean sought my father's death and went down to Egypt, and gives it a brief history of our stay in Egypt as slaves and how Hashem brought us out from there and brought us to the promised land, to Eretz Yisrael. So this brief history is an integral part of the Haggadah, and it's interpreted. Each and every word in that brief statement is interpreted by the Haggadah itself from verses that are found in Sefer Devarim. So each word is interpreted. For example, he went down to Egypt. Anus, he went down against his will, okay? And he dwelled there. Dwelled there means he didn't go there to live. Yaakov did not go to Egypt to dwell permanently. He went to Egypt as a stranger, as a temporary resident, not as a permanent citizen, and so on and so forth. It goes through the entire section, explaining each and every word, each and every phrase. And this continues with the 10 plagues, which is also part of the Sipur. And then we have Rabbi Yossi Aglili telling us that in Egypt there were 10 plagues, and on the Red Sea there were 50 plagues, making a total of 60 plagues. Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Akiva won't go into details. And then it ends with Shabbat, praise. Kama malot tovot lamakom aleinu, dayenu, ilu hosion mimitzrayim osalem b'shvatim dayenu. If you took us out of Egypt and had not performed judgments against the gods of Egypt, dayenu would have been enough. Dayenu, dayenu, dayenu. Hashem did more and more and more and more. All of this is Shabbat. And then we come to the 4th section, which begins with Rabbi Gamliel Haya Omer. And what did Rabbi Gamliel say? That Pesach, Matzah, and Maror, these 3 foods, the Pesach being the Paschal lamb, the matzah and the maror, have to be explained. Why are we eating the Pesach? Why are we eating the matzah? Why are we eating the maror? And Rabbi Gamliel goes on to explain each and every one. That's part of the Sipur. But it's interesting that he phrases his explanation as a question. That's what we said earlier, that each section has questions. For example, Rabbi Gamliel says, Pesach, again, the question, why are we eating the Pesach? Why are we eating the matzah? Why are we eating the maror? He phrased it as a question and then gives the answer. So this is all part of the question and answer, the Sipur, the telling of the story. And then that concludes with, this fourth section concludes with praise of Hashem. Lefichach anachnu chayavim lahodot la'alel. Therefore, is our duty to thank, praise, and pay tribute to Hashem, etc. And we also have the beginning of the Hallel. The first two sections of Hallel are included in the Magid section of the Haggadah. And Hallelu Hallelu Avdei Hashem and B'tzeit Yisrael Mitzrayim. And then we conclude finally with the bracha called Gal Yisrael, who redeemed Israel. This is the conclusion of the Magid. So to summarize, Magid, which is the major portion of the Haggadah, contains four elements. The four sections each contains three elements: the element of questions, the element of telling the story, and the element of giving thanks. And this we add to the list, the ubiquitous list of number four, that we talked about in the very beginning. So we come now to a basic question. Why is the number four so important? Why did the Baal Haggadah make sure that number four is prominent throughout the entire Haggadah? What is the significance of the number four? And I think that the answer can best be found in our study of Kabbalah. The origin of all of existence is Hashem. And Hashem, as known by the Yud, the Hey, the Vav, and the Hey, the four-lettered name of Hashem, the Tetragrammaton. These four letters are the basis of our entire existence. In fact, the Rambam, in his great magnum opus called Mishneh Torah, which contains 14 books, begins the Mishneh Torah with the following: Yesod ha-Yesodot v'amud ha-Chochmot leida sheyesh sham nimtza b'kol ha-Metziut b'glal Metziuto. Yesod ha-Yesodot v'amud ha-Chochmot. Yesod begins with a Yud. Ha-Yesodot begins with a Hey. V'amud begins with a Vav. Ha-Chochmot begins with a Hey. Rambam chose to open his Mishneh Torah with the four-lettered name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And what that name means, this is the basis of all of existence. Haya, Hoveh, V'hiyeh. The four letters can make the three words: past, present, and future. Before the creation, there was no time. Time can only exist when something else exists. When something else exists, you can measure it in terms of time. So time, Haya Hoveh V'hiyeh, is associated with the creation of the world. And not only that, but Hashem's existence is the cause of all existence. All that exists is derived from the existence of Hashem. One could imagine the existence of Hashem without any other existence. One could not imagine any other existence without the existence of Hashem. It is so basic and so fundamental in our belief of Hashem Echad. This is the meaning of Hashem Echad. Hashem is one. Hashem is the ultimate existence, past, present, and future. The one who's Mahava, which means that existence continues to exist because of the existence of Hashem. This is the power of Yud Kei Vav Kei. It's such a holy name that we don't even pronounce it the way it's written. We say Ado instead. God is our master, the Lord of the universe. But we don't use this name, Yud Kei Vav Kei, because it's so holy. The only time it was used in time of the Beit HaMikdash, when the Kohanim would bless the people, they would use that name of Hashem the way it is written. It's a holy name. And therefore, those 4 letters represent all of existence. And perhaps this is why the number 4 is so prominent in the Haggadah, because the 4 is the Yud Kei Vav Kei, the 4 letters of Hashem's name. Rabbi Yonatan.